Community is something that I like to write about, that I touch on my subject matter quite a lot, because it's something I feel strongly about. I think it's an important, constructive, positive thing, but also because I feel there's a certain double standard in that people have a lot to say, often critical, often negative comment, but not a lot to say or to contribute or to try and rectify the situation. So I'd like to speak up and kind of register a voice for people who are in favour of community and appreciate it. Make no mistake, it's tough times we live in. A quick glance at the news and one can be forgiven for thinking the end is near and time is running out. So many things to fear, so much to worry about. In this modern life where war is rife and greed is everywhere, everybody doing for self, nobody seems to care for the planet or their neighbours. Such self-centered behaviour, people acting more twisted than quavers. And we're a nation of non-believers. We've lost all faith in all the leaders. Because costs are up and the pound is down, but cynicism is booming, all-consuming. Of course people feel like disaster is looming, so it just didn't used to be this way back in the day. People used to respect one another. Kids behaved their mothers and treat each other right, and you could walk the streets at night and it's its way of life of which we've lost sight. And nowadays we seem so slow to talk and so swift to fight. And was it such a different world back then, with such different dangers? We had paedophiles too, but we just called them strangers. And back then it was Iran and Vietnam, and nowadays it's Iran and Iraqistan. And they used to use communism for the villain, and now they use Islam. And illegal, immoral, unwinnable wars will continue to rage, and some don't get a word and some get front page. And nowadays they say youth got no respect for age. But every time I've seen a senior slip and stumble in the street, they're always mobbed by passers-by to help them to their feet. And I see people on the tube giving up their seat to those who need it more, and I maintain the belief that whatever you're looking for, if your eyes are open, you can find it. And rose or shit-tinted glasses will leave you equally blinded. In need of being reminded that times today ain't what they used to be. They're not what they could be. They're not what they will or should be. They are what they are, and perfect is not. We better learn to live with it because it's all we've got. So if you really believe that broken Britain has come off the rails, common decency has failed and anarchy's prevailed, maybe it's time to put down your Daily Mail, open up your double-locked, double-bolted front door and go engage in your community, and soon you'll see that you can't do without it. And don't you dare complain that no one knows their neighbour if you do nothing about it. So that age-old argument of times in what they used to be just ain't no use to me. It confuses me how one can expect to grow wiser instead of just older when one's forever looking over one's shoulder, complaining the road ahead is all uphill. Well, sometimes it might be, but while you're sat on your arse with your head in the past, progress is unlikely. So I like to reminisce as much as the next man, but nostalgia as a drug whose use is best kept to moderation, because it's such a sweet intoxication, but cynicism is to come down, leave you feeling run down, wondering how you can go on when all the best times are gone. Maybe that's when it's in your interest to give that shit a rest, because the two most powerful tools in the world are in your head and in your chest, and it's good to have savings, but it's best to invest. I think there's a popular opinion and a popular sort of social trend to think that community is dying out, but in my personal opinion, I think it's entirely subjective. I think you can see whatever level of evidence of community or lack of it that you should look for. I think it's entirely up to it's in the eye of the beholder. You can go into this kind of tabloid mentality of broken Britain, and people don't care about each other anymore, and neighbours don't care about each other, and we're all disconnected because we're all on Facebook instead of meeting people in the street. This kind of situation. There's a whole body of opinion out there towards that, but I don't subscribe to that particularly. I think there's evidence of community all around us. I think you only have to look for it. I think you can see people in everyday situations pulling together to help each other out. It's a negative, maybe it's a bit of a morbid note, but when somebody gets killed in the street by a traffic accident or something, the outpouring of flowers and sentiment that people have, I think community is there to be seen if you want to see it.